Good morning and welcome to AARP Mindful Movement for Alabama. We're so glad that you joined in with us this morning. I am your host, Margie Curry, and we're again working with our fantastic yoga instructor, Becca Impello, who has been teaching and practicing yoga all more than 20 years. Now, we're so glad that you joined in, and we want to remind you that don't forget, AARP empowers people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. AARP is committed to offering opportunities for people to stay active and engaged from your home. The Mindful Movement series provides an opportunity for everyone to keep moving in the safety of their own home. Hi, Becca. Good morning.
Good morning, Margie. How you doing this week?
Doing good. How about you?
Good. Just trying to survive. The end of summer, back to school.
Coming to an end. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. What do you have for us today?
Well, today, Margie, I wanted to try to do, I like to do a good all-around practice often where we try to hit everything. So I'm really going to try to give us something for the brain, for the body, for the hands, the feet, the upper body, the lower body. We're going to try to get it all in there. So we're definitely going to be moving today.
Oh, sounds great. Sounds great. That sounds wonderful. Remember, everyone, please consult with your physician before you begin any program of physical activity and make sure that you are capable of participating in the program. All right, Becca, take it away.
All right, very good. Well, like I said, we're going to try to hit a lot of different parts and pieces today. And sometimes I'm going to be asking you to do some things with different areas of the body at the same time, which is going to be good exercise for our brain, for coordination and connection and all of that. So when I say we're trying to get it all, that's what I mean. We're trying to really incorporate lots of different things. So let's start with some breathing, all right? And this is just a breath practice that I call topping off. There may be other names for it, all right? So that may just be one way of describing it. This is a practice where we're going to take a breath in, just a normal breath in, or, a reasonably, kind of big breath in, but not a maximum breath. And we're going to inhale and then hold just for a split second. And then we're going to try to just top it off, take in a little bit more breath. This is a good way to try to just expand your lung capacity. And I just want to remind you, as we've already said, anything that doesn't feel right for your body, whether it's a movement or a stretch or a breathing activity, just let it go and wait till the next thing. If you feel any question at all about whether it's a good idea for you, or if it just doesn't feel that, productive for your own body or energy today. So let's try that topping off breath. We're going to start with just doing it 3 times in a row, and then just pause and return to a normal breath and see how we feel. And then we'll do it again. All right. So just take a few natural breaths first. Just breathing in and out through the nose, just sort of get a feeling for, a rhythm that's a little more even, a little more smooth. All right, and then let's try that topping off breath. With your next breath in, just take a normal inhalation, pause a split second, and then inhale a little bit more. And then let it all out. Let's try that again. Inhale. A little bit more. And again. All right, so just pause, just kind of reflect on what that felt like for you. Now, remember, if you took your biggest breath possible on that inhale, you're not going to have any room to top off, right? So we're not trying to take a maximum breath. We're just trying to take a regular breath, hold a second, try to take a little more breath. That's where you might try to maximize or go closer to that. Hold just again, a little short, little pause, and then let it all out. All right, let's try it again. 3 rounds. Here we go. All right, good. Now let's roll the shoulders. We'll try to just get some things loosened up here. Nice big shoulder rolls. Now remember, we call this mindful movement, and that's really our overall goal, is to be aware and mindful of what you're doing, right? Just to, be connected to your body, be connected to your movements. We want to do this with as little judgment as possible. So you're not looking to see if your body is behaving, good or bad today. There's no right or wrong, right? We're just going to connect with our body, be grateful for what it can do for us. All right, sit up tall and let's turn the head side to side. And we do use a chair as our main base for this class. That way we're, accessible to lots of different people and bodies and abilities. We will do some things where we stand up, and you'll have some options to do some things, without the chair if you want to. All right, chin down now and up, nodding that head down and up a few times. Pay attention. Like I said, how does this feel in your body? If you get anything that's, painful, especially a sharp pain, you want to back off of that movement, either making it smaller or skipping it all together. So just keep that in mind as we keep on going. All right, now let's move to the hands and feet and get them a little bit warmed up. But we're going to do this with a coordination exercise at the same time. So I want you to start with your right hand and start circling your right hand, your right wrist. All right, just pay attention to how that feels for a few rounds. And then keep that right hand circling. Maybe change direction every now and then. And let's add the left foot. Now you're going to circle that left foot. Go the other direction with that foot. All right, now go ahead and spread the fingers and spread the toes. Flex that foot. Now make a fist and point on the foot. Point the toes and curl the toes in, and then pull the toes back and spread them. Open up those fingers. Make a fist, point the toes, open. Doing this with the right hand and the left leg is good for our brain. It's good when we do stuff on opposite sides of the body at the same time. It just makes for more connections in our nervous system. All right, pause. Let's move down to the other side. We're going to start with the left hand. Give that left wrist and hand a few circles. And then let's add the right foot and ankle. So we get them both moving. Switch directions at some point. Maybe you want to switch directions a couple times. All right, and then let's flex that foot, spread the toes, open up the palms, spread the fingers. And then make a fist and point down with the foot, curl the toes somewhat, open up and spread out. Make a fist and point that foot, open, point, close that fist tight one more time. Good. All right, hand and foot down. Let's move into the torso, the rib cage. Let's see if we can do a side-to-side movement. Now, I like to throw in movements that may not be that familiar or common to folks, right? Because again, that's good for our brain and our coordination to do something that's a little different, to get us in touch with parts of our body that we may have sort of less of a feel for. So this rib cage is sliding right and left. You're just trying to see how much movement you can get. What does it feel like? Now let's see if we can turn this into a little bit of a circular motion. So push it over the rib cage to one side and then push it forward over the thighs. Bring it through the other side and a little bit back. If you're too close to your chair, just scoot forward a little bit. Sit closer to the middle or the front of the chair. All right, so big, slow circles with that rib cage. Now, you still get to choose whether you're making your movement big or small or somewhere in between based on what feels right for you. All right, now we've got the hang of this circle, probably. It's gotten a little easier. Now, of course, we've got to switch directions. So pause and then go the other way. All right, a couple more times around. And bring it back to center. Sit up tall. Good. Now we're going to do a similar thing, but here with the pelvis. So I want you to start by just leaning right and left, picking up one side of the seat to the bottom and then the other. This will get you a little hike on the hip and the waist. All right, and get awareness of your pelvis, your low back. We're going to start to make this a circle as well. So take it over to one side, forward, over to the other side and back. Now this may look and even feel a lot like the one we just did. All right, but I'm going to keep my attention more on my base, my pelvis, my glutes, my lower back, and I'm less concerned with moving up there in my rib cage and my chest. All right, again, we got to switch directions. So pause, reverse, go around the other way. And bring it back to center. Take those feet out wide if they're not already. And you get to decide how far you go with this one. We want to fold forward right at those hips. Lean into that space between the knees. And then come back and sit up tall. Maybe even lean to the back of the chair. You decide how far you want to go. And then I'm going to come forward. And maybe I stop right here. Maybe I drop down. And then come up, lean all the way slowly to the back of the chair. Or maybe not quite that far, right? All right, so we're folding. And then we're leaning back. This gets us using some of those core muscles, some of our back muscles. This is also a really good functional movement, right? There's oftentimes when we need to bend over and get something from the ground, or we need to be able to reach down, right? So this helps us with that flexibility. Last time. All right, now you bring those legs back in. Let's loosen up the shoulders a little bit. We're going to do this with one arm at a time to start with. And then you're going to have the option to see if you can do both at the same time. All right. So bring one arm up in front. You bring it up as high as you comfortably can with the thumb leading and the palm facing in towards your body. And then see if you can sweep that arm behind and down. So we're making a big slow circle. Now your circle may look a lot different than mine or someone else here, right? So it's okay if your arm doesn't quite get up by your head, if your circle sweeps a little bit more out to the side. Just make some movement with that arm. And then guess what? We need to reverse directions. Sometimes this is harder. Sometimes this is easier to go back. So again, if you run into anything that just feels sharp or pinchy or just won't go, then make that movement smaller or back up and, try it again at a slightly different angle. All right, let's let that arm rest. Take a moment just to notice how it feels. And then let's do the other side. So up with that thumb leading, you come up as close to your head as you can, and then you turn the palm out and push it back behind you and drop it down, making that complete circle. Go slow enough that you get in control of the movement. We're not flinging that arm around. Good. 2 more like this. Again, you're modifying if you need to, or just doing a variation of it that suits you best. Let's see if we can reverse now. Reverse and take that arm back and up and forward. Good. Last 2. Now, I promise we would try to do both at the same time, but here's the trick, or here's the challenge, is we're going to try to do the arms in 2 different directions. So I'm going to see if I can take my right arm up my left arm back and try to complete that circle. Now this really makes me have to go slower in order to keep both of them moving through that arc. And of course, just when we get this coordination figured out, guess what? Pause and reverse. So now you switch which one is moving forward and which one is moving back. Oh, I think I just messed up. There we go. It's okay if you mess up, by the way. And I always say that, when you find yourself kind of having trouble with a certain motion, all that means is that you're doing something that's a good challenge for you. And that's always a good thing to be, stimulating that body and nervous system with a new challenge. All right, let's pause. Whew, shake it out. Okay, let's come up out of the chair for a little bit of activity. We're going to start with standing. And if you want to have that chair for a little support, just have the back of the chair near you or stand behind the chair. And please feel free to hold on or touch the chair as much as you need. And if you feel like you can challenge yourself, your balance and strength a little bit more, then you can opt to let go or stop touching. All right, let's try and go up on tiptoes. Coming back to some work for the feet and the legs, back on the heels, up on tiptoes, back on the heels. Again, keep this motion slow, under your control, not rocking, not letting those hips shift way far back. Almost lost my balance back there. I challenged myself to that point. That's okay. All right, now, little chair pose. Again, hold on as needed. Feet are about a hip's distance apart. I'm going to sit back and down, taking the form of a squat or as if we were sitting slowly into a chair. You can bring those arms up or even overhead if you want a little more challenge. And of course, you could squat or sit lower if you want to. All right, we're holding, try to feel that fatigue in our thighs. You can take it for one more breath if you're still there. And then stand up, maybe reach up. And then let's do it again. Sit back and down. Try to keep the chest up. The spine is nice and straight. And then again, rise up. Stretch up tall. One more time for chair pose. Sit back and down. And then one more time, reach up. All right. Now again, hold on if you need, if you want. Step one leg back, nice long step. Bend the other knee, the one that's closer to the chair if you're using it, so that we've got a little bit of a lunge position. Push into that back heel. This can help us get a stretch for the calf. All right. And then optional, if you are okay letting go, squeeze those shoulder blades back. Push forward with the arms. So we get a little arm and trunk movement here as we hold with strong legs in our lunge position. Last two. Last one. All right, now here's one where we'll definitely use the chair. Take the hands on the chair. Of course, it could be a wall or a countertop if you wanted instead. Just walk back, stretch out long through the arms, into the spine, the hips. Take a couple deep breaths here. All right, and then we'll walk it in, and we're taking it to the lunge on the other side. So take the other foot back, bend that forward knee, push nice and firmly into that back leg. Nice strong push into the front leg. All right, And then same thing, if you want to add a little arm pull, squeeze between the shoulder blades, push, get a little bit rounded, pull, and push. Good, 3 more. All right, again, take the hands on the top of the chair, walk back, stretch it out nice and long. All right, now let's turn the chair around, and I'm going to give you sort of 3 options here. The middle, kind of difficulty level will be using the chair. If you feel like you need something a little less intense, go to a wall if you have one handy, or a sturdy door, and you can place your hands on that instead of on the chair. And if you feel like you can take a little more load, you can take yourself right down to the floor and you can do your plank on the ground. All right, so I'm going to do on the chair. You've got those other choices if you want them. Walk the feet back, shift those shoulders so that you're in a nice, kind of straight line with your body from your heels up to your head. You're pushing with those arms. Take a couple breaths here. Just keep that steady push with the arms. Keep the body in a nice straight line. Engage those, muscles of the legs by pushing your thighs back. 2 more breaths. If you're still here, it's always okay to finish a little early. All right, and then just step in, or if you're down on the ground, you can just put your knees down. Let's bring it up tall and roll the shoulders a bit. Just like the chair pose, we're going to do this 3 times, okay? So, second set of our plank. Good work for the upper body, good work for the core as well. And if you feel like doing a little more in any of those 3 positions, you could try bringing your knee one at a time towards your hands. This works whether you're on the wall, on the chair, or on the floor. Challenges the core, puts a little more work into the arms. Last 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll step in, take another little break. You might want to circle your wrists if you're feeling some of that, pressure from putting your weight on them. 1 more set of our plank. Option to hold steady. You can do the same variation with the knee pulls that we just did, or you could try some push-ups if you want to. Again, this works in any of those 3 positions. All right, so I'm going to stay on the chair. Once I get steady, I'm going to try dipping in for a couple little push-ups. Optional, totally fine if holding steady is your jam instead of push-ups. All right, and then walk it in, stand up tall. Again, circle out those wrists. And let's just take a little stretch for the arms after that one. So take one arm across the body, across the chest. You use the other hand to just kind of give it a little push there. Get up nice and tall. You can optionally tilt the head towards your hand over there. Good. Let's bring the head back up. Shake out that arm you were just stretching. Take the other arm across. Maybe add a tilt of that head. Good. And then bring that head back up. Shake that out. We're going to sit back down for the last 5 minutes or so that we still got. I've got one more thing for our feet and ankles. Okay. And again, this may tax our brain just a bit with the coordination effort. So often we do circles with the ankle, right? So we're going to do something a little different, just to, kind of make us use our body in a new way. I want you to, sort of visualize that circle. But what I want us to do is to point the toes down like you're trying to touch the bottom curve of the circle. And you're just going to go up halfway around one side, and then down, around, and up halfway the other side. So we're just doing sort of half of the circle, but we're trying to be real deliberate. It's almost like we're trying to go on underneath the edge of that circle, right? We're trying to get, those outer and inner aspects of the ankle muscles to work here. So up and out, up and in, sweeping down in the middle, up and out, up and in. 2 more. All right, let that foot rest a second. We're going to stay on the same foot, but this time we're going to try to trace the top of the circle, right? So I'm going to start by pointing my toes up as high as I can, like I'm up at the top, and then I'm going to come down and in, up and over the top, out and in. I try not to let my knee or my thigh move very much. So we're tracing the top part of the circle now. Again, I'm trying to isolate that movement in my foot and ankle. And just see what you notice. Was the bottom circle, half of the circle, more difficult to coordinate, or the top? All right, about 3 more. Okay, let that foot rest. Just be aware for a moment of your right and left feet. Notice that, the one you were just working, probably has a different sensation. You may feel like it's a different size. You may have sort of a different, quality to the way it feels. All right, let's switch over to the other leg. We're going to trace the bottom of the circle first. So point the toes down like you're touching the bottom of the circle. Come up and in, sweep down and up on the other side. Good, slow and controlled. May help to watch your foot. Yeah, I'm trying not to let my knee or my leg move much, so I have a hand there just to sort of feel that. Last 3, 2, 1. Now let it rest. And then we're going to focus on the upper top part of the circle. So toes up, and then like you're tracing down and in on the circle, and then up over the top, down and out on the circle, up over the top, down. Good. A couple more times. Last 3, 2, 1, and bring it down. Again, take a moment just to observe. All right, and let's just stretch those legs a little bit more. Go ahead and bring one ankle up to the knee, or you could cross it right to the shin. All right, so figure out the level that works for you. Sit up tall in the spine, lean in a little bit so you get some stretch in that glute, the back of the hip. Good. And let's switch. Take the other leg, cross it at whatever height works for you. Sit up tall, lean in, see what you notice about the difference between those two sides. My left hip has a whole different feeling. I still get a stretch. It's a slightly different place. And, the leg just doesn't go to the same angle as my other side. These are just differences between my right and left that are just part of my body. So as you observe your own differences, I encourage you to just, notice them. Don't get too critical about them or concerned about them, but just work with them. All right, let's release that. Take a moment just to scoot back in your chair, lean back perhaps, close the eyes for a moment. Just even out your breath. Take in just slow, easy breaths in and out. Just noticing your body. Like I said, we tried to work the whole body. We, did stuff for all the major joints, the spine, the core, and we tried to get in some, coordination challenges for the brain as well. All right, let's finish by just taking a deep breath in together. Reach the arms up. Exhale. Just bring those hands together in front of the heart, a gesture of gratitude. And we are grateful for AARP of Alabama giving us these opportunities to move and be mindful together. We hope you will continue to join us on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Central. Thanks for being here today. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.
Thank you, Becca. You challenged us today from head to toe.
All right.
All right. Have a great week, everybody. See you next time on Mindful Movement with AARP Alabama.